I'm going to close Unreal. Get some Modo up. Some Modos. All right, 30 minutes, let's do this. So if you can't tell already as well, I'm using the new Zen layout. Takes some getting used to, but man, it's nice. Strongly suggest buying it. I don't remember how much it was. I think it's like $20. Okay, where are we at here? ZBrush, where are you at? Man, every time I hit reference. What does Zen do? So Zen kind of changes your layout, kind of moves everything around. Actually, we can look at that. So I'm gonna shrink this down so that it takes up all of the screen, so you guys can see all of the UI. There we go. So we'll do that. How's that? That should be okay. Okay, so if you look at Zen, so Zen is just like, so if I'm in regular Modo, this is regular Modo. Zen essentially is a different layout. Where are we at here? It's this one with the rocks. You click that and this basically becomes your like go-to viewport for everything. So let's see, what's the best way to, usually it looks like this. I have a weird bug where all the buttons on this left side here are all visible. I have no idea what's causing that. Might just reinstall Modo to see if I can fix it because it's really nice. Basically whatever mode you're in, it's like all your primitives are here. So if I go to this, this is basically, it's gotten rid of most of the UI. Back to School Substance Academy. Okay, so you have like all these buttons over here, and if you don't know what they are, you just kind of drag it out and it'll spell it out for you. It even shows the hotkeys next to them. I think that's normal Modo stuff. But it's just so everything is right there. Everything is just ready for you. So like, so if you got items down here, you click that and it brings all this stuff up, which is pretty good. I don't think I can scale that, no. So let's say I make 2 cubes. So I've got 2 cubes. Maybe we'll just talk about this today. I don't know. And then we'll go into critiques. But I have 2 cubes, right? One of the scripts for it is a double click to switch. So you can see I'm like, do stuff here, go to vert mode, select verts, move those around, select the edge, move that around. Double click in the background and it goes back to selection mode. So you're like going back and forth. Zerg, hi OP. Thanks for the follow. Welcome. Welcome to the streams. That shelf along the bottom, I will explain in a second. It's super cool. So you have that. You have your tools options here. This is how I found out about pressing K to do stuff. So if I go to move and then I press K, you have all your properties here. What's next here? There's just so many. It's great. Your UV view is down the bottom right. You can click that and it just splits your scene and puts all of your UV tools right here. And you click it again, it just goes away. So good, so good. There's a render button right next to it, which gives you your view here. Then your full progressive render, which is really nice. And then you can move your camera around and it will just be rendering. So you can like set your camera up for whatever you want to look at. Get that in place, do all your things. You can hide that again. Probably the best thing though, what the French toast is going on? There we go. So probably one of the best things is the G key. Because you can do all types of stuff in there. And then they have their V key as well. Of course, this thing is crazy big, and that's because of the contextual stuff. Right now I'm having a bug with contextual anything, when what it should show here is based on what I'm using. So if I'm in vert mode, all the buttons and stuff here will be pertaining to vertex. If I go to edge mode, then it's all edge-based stuff. What else can we do here? Why is that not? Okay, so let's say that's divided, right? Go to your items view, put this up here. So let's say this is going to be your low poly. This is pretty slick. You can essentially, without even having that open, you pull this open, you can go to topo mode, and then you can topo pen, and now you're doing topology on this mesh without even leaving the viewport to go to the topology window. So that's pretty sick, and then you just hit topo mode again and then you exit out of it. And if you look at your items, like all that stuff was going to your items. PogChamp, what the French toast? Later, reads. All right, cool. What is this substance thing? I'm scared. I'm scared, guys. I'll look at it later. What res is my screen? It's 1440. And I'm just streaming out to you guys at 1080. Now we have all that out of the way. Just do this. So you can also get to your list from here. So if I need to do some quick stuff like that or close the scene, press G, shader trees here. You can do some quick stuff there, and then when you just click away, it all goes away. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so let's go to ZBrush. Looking at this guy. Oh, that's awesome. That's good they did a learning platform. Dude, having a 1440p screen is great for CG work because it shrinks your UI and just gives you so much more like real estate for your viewport. It's amazing. Do you guys know if there's, in the Seneca scripts, if there's a script for taking all individual meshes inside of a single mesh container and splitting them into a bunch of mesh containers? It's like basically everything is in this mesh, right? And essentially I just want to take this mesh and all meshes inside of it, make them into a bunch of different meshes like that. I'm sure that exists. Under visibility and layers. It's called break something. Break meshes into layers. Glorious. Thanks, dude. Awesome. Thanks, man. Oh, Voron, too slow. Thanks, dude. $61 people in here. How you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. The strum. Is your tips working? Uh-oh. Maybe not. I don't know. I feel bad when people have to say that. I appreciate everything that you do for me, Dazo. Uh, 12K low poly versus a 500 tries low poly. Silhouette, I don't know. Yeah, for some reason I have to accept certain people's donations. That's weird. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. But no, thank you. If that ever happens in my head on stream, you never donate again, ever. Because it's probably very painful. Get those trimmed edges into your silhouette. Hey. Okay, so we're going to actually... so this tool is really cool. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at it. Script applies a color to a mesh. Do that. So you can use this for like... let's see how to best explain this. So if I grab some of these and I make these like that color and I make these guys this color, I can click this one and I think it's this guy. Yeah. So this far left button will use it like a color selection. How fucking cool is that? Just cooking dinner while learning something from this stream. Sick. Dude, I learn a lot from this stream too. It's awesome. So let's get these colors off here. So I'm actually gonna use these colors to make sense of what I've looked at and what I have not looked at. So like there's stuff like this, right? That's pretty nasty. We're probably gonna go to default so it's easier to read what's happening. Get the grid out of the way so we don't think it's an edge. Yeah, there's some gross stuff happening in there. We're just gonna do some dirty cleanup. Oops. Dazzo, I tried the auto retopo and it was pretty brutal, man. You imagine you managed to let it go? I mean, yeah, but look at this shit. I can only let so much go. Yeah, I actually tried it out at work. I need to actually edge. Where's it at? This stuff's all over the place now. Edge extrude, no. Look at this list. Oh my god. So this is what it looks like if it doesn't collapse down. Edge bevel, extend, edge slice. We're looking for turn. F. We're just going here. If you press F2, you get back to your original stuff. We go spin. That's what we're looking for. Okay. So down here at the bottom, you also have a whatchamacallit, schematics view, and that's how you can get to your command history. This is pretty slick. So spin, quad pairs, edge spin. I just want to hotkey that. What do I want to hotkey that to? Shift V, cool. Yeah, so Shift V will let me turn stuff. Cool. Okay, let's hide this guy. We'll close this. This can be... Try and get rid of a bunch of shiz on the screen. 9:18 already. It is, personally, I think it's quite a bit faster because I can just clean up a few areas and then call it good and just start unwrapping stuff. Well set. Probably. Yeah, it's just a handful of things. It looks like in these areas it gets pretty nasty, but that's about it. Can probably just do a lot of this. Collapsing of edges. Control backspaces for collapsing an edge. Or revert. Sorry. Collapsing an edge like that. Yeah, like this stuff here, that's freaking gnarly looking. We're just gonna... I don't even know. We're basically, I think we're just gonna do this. There you go. Probably don't even need that edge. So we're just gonna look for problem areas like this one. The rest we'll just kind of ignore. Probably don't even need that detail. What are you saying, Chris? We're just to close that off. Thanks, man. Mancunan, how you doing? Dazo, again, thank you for the kind donations. Yeah, basically, we're just gonna look for problem areas and then just walk away. Because cool guys don't look at explosions or bad vertices. Oh, what was the... That's shifty for turning an edge. That looks much better. Probably don't need that. Yeah, don't need that. I think there's two edges there. I don't like these long triangles. At least narrow ones. Like this one's... That one should be okay. Let's make sure nothing horrible is happening here like this. Yeah, crits are happening in 7 minutes. We're kind of there already. If a studio is mass production for kicking games out, there was a GDC talk on it maybe about a year ago. It basically showed their ability to just crush anything and everything, and then you just give it the high poly mesh, and they press a button, and then it comes back in a few minutes, completely done, baked, and textured. First pass. Obviously, it doesn't look amazing, but it's good for prototyping and getting, like, you know, a character into the game to see how it looks and feels before committing all that time to actually making it before realizing that you don't like it. Let's just keep looking for these horribly collapsed pieces, like really narrow triangles. A little better. Publicly available tools for sure, man. Your guys' stuff's looking pretty cool. In the just looking at the work in progress thread. We'll be looking at that in 4 minutes. So you guys will notice on the YouTube channel, this video I'm going to try and split it up into multiple videos. That is why you saw me do transition shots. This part will be part of the work in progress crits, but the whole idea is that I'll be able to give you guys a video link to just the crits, or a video link to just talking about that GI stuff, or a video link for just the retopoing process in ZBrush. So there'll be 3 videos today off of this one, substantially shorter as well because of that, which is great. Less timestamps, shorter videos, easier to digest. Digestives. GI stuffs. I'm gonna get some of that GI. I'm just gonna do this, get rid of that. Oh. Oh my god, what is that? I'm not streaming in the next 22 hours though. It's Thursday. Are you trying to get that working? That's super cool, man. I appreciate Don't do leg day. Dude, you can't walk. That just means you're going to get better at art right now. As long as you can get downstairs, you should be good. If I can do that. Yes. Yes. This is going to take some work. Just going to go in there and crush it. This might be the byproduct of creasing too much. Steven Verks. Will any of you participate in the global game jam? I will not. Mainly because I'm just too busy. Alright, guys. It is time for the crits. There's not too many this time around either, so we'll go pretty in-depth, I think, if we can. We even got a character in there, which I'm sweating bullets about. I'm not a character artist, so take what I say with a grain of salt, I think. Alright, so we'll save this guy. I'm going to start opening these cool cats up. And we'll move it on to the other screen, and then we're good. Oh man, Steven, that sucks. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I think I got all of them open. After we get through these ones, I will check again to make sure. Make sure I've got... Just making sure I got them all. Just too many windows are up, man. It's too many. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. Or Okay, I think I got all the bad boys open. Okay, we will start these thumbnails on the most viral images. I don't care. Okay, so this is looking pretty cool. You know what? I'll be right back. I need to get some water. And then we will do this. We will do the deed. I'll be right back. All right. All right. Okay, so we're looking at this guy. I'm gonna get my Epic pen out. Get the Wacom. For anyone wondering, yes, I did drink water. I was like, I could bring the glass in here. Nah, I'll leave it in here for like months. So I just poured a glass, chugged it. Now I feel like I'm full of water. Because I am. Okay, so... Oh, come on, really? Why? No. Alright, we're blowing you up. I just don't care about the viral images. No, this isn't going to work. Hang on here. Open a new window. There we go. So it's still pretty dark. For now, I would suggest either making your shadows half their current darkness, or turning them off just so that you can see what, like, so you can better judge like what you're looking at. Because I actually don't. I'm not sure what I'm like. Is this? It looks like there's a fence here, and then this is like a path. It might be my screen too. It's just really dark. We're going to, oh, what is going on? Copy image. Let's do this. Yeah, the other thing is your histogram. Make sure that you get more of a curve like this. It's much better. Somewhere around here that it peaks and then it goes back down. Gonna do that. Let's see what that looks like. That pen software is called Epic Pen. It's pretty good. It's a little quirky. I think yeah. See, there we go. I'll just imitate it. Actually, we need green. I think we need, yeah. Not green. Shit. Hang on. Oh, this is what we'll do. We're gonna just tone this down like that, so I can draw on top easier. Okay, so this stuff's cool. Really like this. These decal stuff that you're doing is really cool as well. And the breakup on this wall is nice. Right now, I would focus on finding a good composition angle. Like, you need to find a shot that like frames your scene well. Like with this shot, I think what you're wanting to focus on is this. With all of these lines crossing over each other and not seeing the ground, it's hard to get an understanding of where you're at. So it might be best to maybe bring your camera up a little bit and then look down a little more. You'll still get this shot and you'll get a bit more of the ground below, which will give you a bit more of an understanding of where you're at. Other than that, this shot's pretty... I would put a guy in here because scale is everything. I don't know, is a guy like this big? Or is he that big? Or is he smaller? Like, how big are these windows? And look at all of your reference and make sure that you're following like the way that the buildings are put together. Your light pole is great for a block out. Like I know that it's a block out because it's stuff like this. You just put like, are you using the splines in Unreal for that? That's pretty good. It's pretty good. The only other thing I would suggest is right now you need to make sure to focus on those laser lines like we were talking about. Laser lines are what tells a person that they're looking at geometry or 3D and not something real. It's like these edges here. See how those edges terminate in like a real, in the real world through references, like this edge here. Oops. Because these edges are everything. This looks like right now it's floating, so this looks open. And it ends before this walkway. It ends after it, so it looks like maybe there's floating. This area looks like it's floating off of the thing. The two colors, like this and this color, are right now quite separate. If that's intended, we just need to figure out a good way to transition between those, which I'm guessing is like showing somehow that paint stops at the corner and it was painted over the blue. Maybe you do this decal stuff where it's chipping. The chipping red shows some of the blue under it and then some of this color under it here. So you could do like, let's see here. Basically like that, but where those details are, these details would be blue, and then these details would be this color. That way you can help explain the red being on top of the blue. If that's what's happening, I'm not sure. Later, man. Thanks for hanging out. Other than that, it's kind of early to tell spatially what to do here. You might be texturing too early. Whoops. I would concentrate on just getting your shapes to look good without textures on them, and see how that goes. Getting all the details where they need to be. Make sure like all your steps are there. Make sure all the railing is there. It's all separated out and ready for you to model. It's like basically the block out pass, right? It's like I guess like this stuff's cool too, the roof stuff. But yeah, double check your windows. Look at all the reference you have and just make sure that you're matching everything. If there's like areas where wires happen, either take note of it or actually like add one wire knowing that there's a bunch there. This type of environment is really interesting because all the angles are just kind of crazy versus like, in the US, everything's very gridded and boxy. The other thing is, when I'm saying these laser lines, there's silhouette laser lines as well. And something nice about that is you can add stuff to the roof, like antenna or a thing that runs wire away from the roof. You can attach stuff to the side of the buildings, like this AC unit. Just scour all your reference and see if there's any other things that are attached to the outsides. So it's like you go from big shapes to medium shapes and small shapes. So like signs, text. Jeremy Corbin, how you doing? So is this the software EA used to develop Battlefield 1 or whoever it was that done it? So Battlefield 1 is made by EA DICE in LA and Stockholm, if I'm correct I know for sure it's DICE, and they used Frostbite, which is a DICE engine owned by EA. It's the same engine that was used for Battlefield. It's the same one for Battlefront, all that stuff. I think right now what we're looking at is a piece that one of the cool cats in chat is working on, and we're critiquing issues and such. So overall, hopefully that answers your question, Jeremy. My name's Jeremy too. It's a great name. Hopefully that answers questions about this guy. Let me see if what the other screens are. This one's actually pretty good. Thanks for the follow, Jeremy. Dang it, where am I? There we are. Okay, so this one is suffering from being too dark. If I zoom in, you're getting some stretching here. I'm not sure how that's... It depends how this detail is being added. If that's a detail normal, make sure that your UVs are relaxed and your texel density is good. Like the detail for this seems like it might be a little large. Yeah, you can do this in any monitor. A IPS monitor is great because you get really good color representation. But yeah, you could technically do it with a CRT. Make games for old people. I kid. So yeah, stretching. This edge looks better than the other edges we were looking at. Is this using that decal we were talking about? That's pretty good. The grime under here, check to see if you're getting grime like that on wood underframes for Windows, just to see what type of grime is happening. And then this type of grime, grime is all contextual, right? So like this type of grime, and especially how it's breaking up here, which right now kind of looks like an error, that actually looks more like the room below it was burning. All it needs is for this to like travel up that way, and then you're like, oh, there was a smoke coming out of this window, there was smoke coming out of this window, and it was burning up the side of the building. Double check reference and make sure that this grime is not... same with this one. Make sure all your grime is contextually making sense. I'll leave it like that. And yeah, it just looks like all this stuff is still block out, and like this, you're focusing on this. So I'll focus on that. Scale wise for your blockouts, make sure all your stairs are the same height, and see if you can get some metric information on actual stairs so that you can understand like the height difference between each one. Because like just to go on a really tiny rant, when stairs go like this, right? And you're in a professional work environment, characters go upstairs all the time, like on Uncharted. Have you noticed that Drake moves differently when he's going upstairs versus when he's just running around or he's running down a slanted terrain? He is moving differently, and it's because he's actually switching. He's actually switching to a different animation that's happening. The animation's dedicated to stairs, and then it's also IK snapping. So basically, they know where. Let's see here. They know where these points are, and they know where this is. In order for them to know that information, the stairs need to be the same each time, or else they'll start to mismatch, and then it'll actually start making the character float as he's running upstairs. So if you can find a good metric for stairs online, yes, Dazza, it's the same in Division. Yeah, I'll get right on that. So basically, just make sure that these are the same height and depth as reality, and you'll be great. You'll be in a good spot. So this grime here is an example of some grime that maybe you could lower the value of by like, I don't know, 50 to 75%. So it's barely there. It's just adding a bit of gradation to the value of this surface. And then if you can get like that, the bevel stuff that you're doing here on this edge, and then get grime under here, it'll read much more like what your eye expects to see with aging. Need more AA on those bars, I think. It's probably, hang on. So it's this is the zoom that we're at. Temporal AA will help that, but you're going to lose a lot of the detail in here. I would probably suggest you could ignore the anti-aliasing and temporal AA for now, because that's something that you can work on later. Yeah, I would ignore that for now. You're getting a seam here. I don't know if you see that. That might be a mipping thing because it's far away. It's mipping like the information from the underside of your decal back over to the top, but I don't know what that is. Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. That could be a number of things. Just know that that's there. This window looks pretty good. I would say maybe either push the whole thing in just slightly so that you get some nice shadow play going along this edge, or keep the frame where it's at, but then push these in. You'll get the same effect. And yeah, just pay attention to your edges and stuff, and make sure that there's a lot of play and breakup on the surface of this. That's not too noisy, but it's just kind of breaking up the surfaces as a whole. Let's see if there's some other ones. Yeah, see this angle? This angle is actually your strongest one. Just because I get a sense of the space and scale. You get multiple stair avenues. There's really interesting windows, window locations. It's a bit dark right now. Yeah, you can see your histogram is like way over there. So it's more probably around that range. So this is cool because you have stairs here, you've got stairs here. Whoops, hang on. You got stairs there, stairs there. There's this cool wall here. Make sure that that wall is thick enough to meet some realistic standards. This telephone pole is a perfect opportunity to get some stuff trailing off into the distance or going this way, connecting to something. Think about the people that live here. Think about like them hanging clothes off this, or running a wire from here to here, and then they're stringing out clothing. Maybe they go out this far because this family is different from this family. So they've agreed that like, oh, I'll use this side, and then this side uses only this side, and there's a break between the two. It's those little propping stories. So while this is a block out, there's so much more going on, and it's easy to understand, which is really cool. And there's tons of opportunities to like do stuff like maybe this person has a garden up here, like one of those rack garden things. Let me read chat, make sure I'm not missing something. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next stuff. But this is, I actually really like this one because you have a focus here. You've got direction going this way. You've got a path that could go that way. You've got a cool face here with a shadowed face here. You've got some under areas here. There's a lot happening that you can play with and make really cool like artistic choices with. So compositionally, this one's actually really strong. This angle. This bottom area is gonna be a football pitch. Yeah, I guess I need some scale. I need to know. I need to see like a character standing, some guy standing here. I'm assuming they're like that big. But cool. Super awesome. Let's see what else we got going on. All right, yes, bench. It's your first asset outside of this is Meltfos. Tifo. So I know there's another updated version. We'll grab that one too. Oops. You guys doing all right? Everything copacetic? Everything the dopeness? I'm a little picky about stuff. Hang on. Okay, so Mel, where's your do you have reference that you can link in chat of something you're looking at? This is why I think it's really important we nail the look and feel and shape of the surface itself before even texturing it, and texturing will just make it look better. If it breaks here, it'll break when you texture it. Texturing won't help you. I'll wait for you to respond on that, and I'll just kind of look at some of this stuff here. The reason I'm saying to look into mesh stuff or into reference things, you just Googled it. Make sure to save those pictures so you can always go back to the same one. Okay, so some things to look into is checking this curve here, making sure that curve matches what you're seeing in the scene. Checking your thickness here. I'm guessing this is too thick. Check your thickness here, just in case. Make sure these bolts, it might, and I'm just not seeing it because of the camera angle. Make sure those bolts center up with the center of this. So like as this goes down, I'm assuming that this bolt actually needs to be right here. This one needs to be here, and this one needs to be here. Might be perspective though. You just posted in Google or in Discord? Hang on. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. It'll help you a lot if you, well, I guess you might have enough information here. Oh. We're doing some pretty detailed critiques tonight. Okay, so that is really interesting. So these side pieces are stone. We'll just look at this one for now because the angle on this one's good. So this is stone. And then you have this is wood, and then you have metal bolts. And you can see like the bolts are actually rusting. So there's rust here, and there's probably within the shadow, there's probably some rust lines coming down. Then there is one. It's hard to tell from here, but I'm gonna guess that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to guess that there's 5 pieces of wood in this shot, just because they seem to be using 1 bolt per wood piece. Right now you have 4. So you have a thickness like this. And your stuff is probably just a tad too thick. So maybe like take the top and lower it by like maybe like that much. And then this straight line here, make sure when you build your high poly, are you sure it's 4 pieces? The reason I'm saying 5 is because there's 1 bolt per this 1 piece. So I'm assuming they're following that pattern. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there might be 4. That's super weird if they're breaking up the... Is that a black spot on the wood? Let me see here. Ah, yes. Thank you. Okay, there are 4. Cool. Okay, so keeping it 4. That's why it's important to have multiple reference images, because if you just go off of that, you might make a mistake like that. Let's see here. So this edge here, make sure that you add some shape breakup, because like, you know, this wood, the wood is old, so it's been sat on a lot, it's been rained on, so it's bending, right? It's bowing here. And you're seeing that there's a little bit of a crack here. So this seat's totally like on its way out the door. It's about to become shit. I mean, it's already getting pooped on by birds. Look at that. So yeah, watch your thickness from here. Watch the evenness. So you can see in the image here, there's a difference between these 2 gaps. Totally apply that here. Maybe make this one just a tad bit smaller. Just bring this one up just a little bit. Watch your thickness, and then start modeling in like the bowing of that surface. You might be able to get away with beveling this edge like twice. And then the other ones, just bevel them once. Beveling is going to help you immensely. Let me see if I can't... So let's say this is your piece of wood. Taking that edge and beveling it. Maybe twice like that. And then by having those verts, you can make a soft edge of that. Hang on here. So you can see already that edge is much more like rounded. Then you can just add a loop here, lower it a little bit, and then bevel that. Oops, hang on here. Like this will help you a lot doing stuff like this. Just making that stuff pretty irregular. And it's okay to actually have this much geometry detail in your low poly. If you want, you can even bevel this side. And yeah, cool. How do you crack it like wood? For something small like this, I wouldn't worry about that too much, especially for like your first model. I would concentrate on just getting really nice smoothing in the normals. We could go into detail on that, but I would suggest, since it's your first mesh, is to just make sure that you're matching the shape initially of what the wood looks like. The other thing that happens with wood is it tends to bow in itself as well, which we're not going to be able to actually, if I just do that. Doing this will help. Since wood does this, kind of curves a bit. Yeah, and see, you're already starting to get that like wood curve going on. Maybe it's really shitty, so like some of the planks are actually different sizes. It takes learning, man. You'll get faster at it, and then it's just like bam, bam, bam. But yeah, so go ahead and make those shapes, and watch out for things like this. Like if that edge is happening, go ahead and just bevel that to add more edges to round that out. Because this bevel stuff, once you start doing stuff like this, it gets really difficult to work on the overall shape. So like if you can get the shape happening before you do your final bevels, you're going to be pretty good. Hopefully that was a pretty detailed one. Yeah, speed comes with time. I don't even know how, dude. I've been doing 3D since 2006, like on a religious level. So you get faster, and there's things I'm super slow at. It's all good. Okay, so character. So I'm not a character artist, but I would make sure that you learn so if you want to do character art, Marvelous Designer will help you with the clothing here, because right now the clothing is really thick looking because of the way that it's creasing. Going on top of everything. There we go. So like making sure that this happens as it goes down. Maybe getting a little bit of a droop to the collar. Could you lean forward, like this? Like it wrinkles a specific way, right? And then if you're putting snow on your character, if you're gonna put it in a game engine, you should solve this in the engine instead of doing it on the model itself. Because in Unreal, you can do this directionally. Your skin looks pretty good. I always get freaked out by no eyes. It's crazy. I can't really say much on characters, though. I mean, make sure that there's like a stitch pattern down here to help describe like how the material ends. This is good, and this, I see there's a stitch there on the side. That's good. Yeah, pricing's not very indie friendly for sure. Is there a trial version? So if you're not allowed to use that at the school for learning reasons, let's do this. Use a is it slash? If you use a slash brush, low intensity, you can do some creasing. Man, I'm terrible at this stuff. As you can see. Because this is all that fabric tends to be. So just make that on a more large scale, and you'll be happy. It looks like you're doing it a bit on the sleeves here. It's just exaggerate it more. Boots look pretty cool. I would make sure that the lip on the base here, I make sure the lip at the base of the boot is maybe exaggerated a bit and comes out a bit more, just so it's easier to see. Make sure that there's a really nice normal separating these two materials from each other, like depth-wise. I'm seeing it a little bit here, but I would say like even a little bit more so. What else? The emphasis on these is kind of like the wash that they do on a jean, right? Maybe soften it a bit more and broaden it just so it's a little bit wider, so that it's more of a diffused look. The laces look pretty cool. But yeah, I'm curious what this looks like without textures on it, just to see how much depth is there. The sole here could probably be a bit thicker as well. You do something like this. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't think of much else. The jeans maybe need a bit of wrinkling in here because they're like stuffed in there, right? Unless this guy's wearing like tight jeans. Okay, let's get through the rest of these. Rapture scene's looking much better. Oh, this is cool. I'm now noticing the stairs. So the floor texture looks like you haven't touched it yet, which is fine. You're definitely now focusing on this as like your central point. There's a hard edge that happens here that you should check. This looks much better, these connecting like this. You should see what Art Deco style architecture does for this stuff. Because I bet there's like something that, like this stuff, I bet they make that stuff bigger. Like that. And then, yeah. Maybe there's some type of break that turns into a larger piece or something. This looks pretty cool though. It's a little weird that the pillar is so shallow here when this is so deep. I think that might be the perfect place for you to take this shape and actually bring it down and make it part of the front of the pillar leading into how shallow this is. It'll help you terminate it instead of it just being a shallow or a extreme change in depth. Because I think right now what I'm seeing is something like this. There's like totally enough room to put something here. Transitioning to that shallow side. But right now, yeah, it loads better. It's looking cool. And I like the addition of this. It tells me that the stairs have a interesting like Art Deco pattern to them. Pinterest Art Deco, man, it'll blow your mind how much crazy shit exists for Art Deco. Let's see. This shot's actually super cool. This right now has a pretty tight hang to it. I feel like maybe if it sagged a bit lower, it would feel better. Maybe an alpha of some like string hanging that's like fastened to it, or like if you want to get really hardcore, some string that goes around the pillar. This is super cool though. These windows. I feel like you might frame it better if you so let's see here. Oh, you're actually looking from your camera's over here, isn't it? Looking this way. Is this, can you go behind this? Is that like going this way? Is like the floor like this? And then there's railing here. And then this wall goes back. And there's probably an arch there. And then it goes like that. That's all behind the wall. And then this is just kind of floating in space. Or is this a solid wall? Let me see what we're looking at here. So, Zerg, I don't think I do have enough time for one more. But if you drop it in the Whip Art channel anyways, people will help you out. I'll help you out too. I'll be in that chat. But I'll have to cut the stream because I'm already over by a bit of time. Oh, I unplugged my earphones again. So it's in an angle where you're not in the wall. Because I would say if you actually, where's it at? If you actually open that up and made that like a view of that top area, you could probably go more over here and then look this way. You'll get a much stronger composition. Because you'll see more of the side of this pillar. You'll actually see more of the windows. Yeah, the angle will just be, and then you'll actually get to appreciate the stairs. I think that'll actually be the strongest shot. You could totally get this shot and the other shot that you have, this one. You get those both polished up and then do an animated sequence of a camera slowly going up the stairs. Coming around this way and then overlooking the rest of the scene. You could put this, let's see here. So if this is actually solid, right, and then this is a overlook, you could put this against the wall back here, like that. And then you can have the entry here, and then it does this. So you go up the stairs, it flies this way, and then you get a good look at this picture on the wall, and then it ends looking at this shot, but a little bit more to the left. And it's gonna look awesome, and you'll get to appreciate the whole scene. It's pretty cool. Looks really good so far. It is suffering again still from a bit of the dark areas, but that'll be fixed with time. Make sure you're specular on your ground when you redo your wood, and then redoing this wall looks kind of flat. It might just be the lighting, but yeah, check out those two materials are probably the weakest thing right now, and I'm just noticing this pattern Make sure that you hide your mirroring if at all possible. Okay, next one. I think that's actually it. Joshua, what did you bake the normals in? Hey, Lord. What do the levels in Discord mean? You just level up as you continue to talk. Okay, before I go, Josh, I'm gonna just show you. So when you're looking at an asset, you baked it in Substance Painter. Okay, because sometimes when you bake outside of Substance Painter or sometimes in Substance Painter, make sure that when you go to edit and project configuration, make sure that you check both of these and make sure to see what your normal map looks like there. Because it might be showing you the wrong normal map format. Like if you look at this model here, right? Getting like a nice highlight going along this edge. But if I change the to OpenGL, oh, I think it's just gonna work because I painted it or I made it in Substance. Oh no, there's creasing issues. Your normals tend to break because you're viewing the wrong normal setting. There you go. Yeah, do you see so this edge down here was broken. Basically, your normals get all messed up. Or they don't display correctly. So double check that just in case. If you reach level 100, I'll reset it and you'll be level 1 again. Anyways, Zergy, I should probably get going, but go ahead and post it in the work in progress channel anyways, and let's check it out. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I appreciate you guys hanging out and being cool and giving me stuff to look at, and I hope that the stuff I talked about today was helpful to you. Lorg, what's up, man? How you doing? Anyways, cool, glorious. I will leave you with the rest of the song, which is like not very long. All right, pleasure, guys. VODs will be up in the next day or two. Split up too, so there should be a crit only video. Cool, guys, later.